Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. It's still Domestic Violence Awareness Month, also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Come on in the room. I'll wait for some more to come on in, and then we'll get this show started. Hopefully I'm not here past an hour. I'm a little tired. Not so much tired, just don't feel well. Thanks for coming, everyone. Please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Also, I'm going to run a short advertisement for my other channel. I'm trying to get more people over there so we could just go ahead and go over there sometime and have these conversations. Trying to get both channels going. I don't know how I'm going to do that when I only come on once, maybe a week, twice. I don't know. Not sure. Thanks for joining me, though. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, peace, love. Clyde, hello. Keitra, thanks for joining me. Queen Diva, of course, my queen. And then Trina B, thanks for joining me. Make sure you hit that like button. This is going to be a good one. But what I'm going to do is, you can see my music. Hello. Yay. I'm glad to see everyone. Well, what I'm going to start off with is a trigger warning, because this commentary that I'm going to talk about today may simply trigger some people. So if you're sensitive to this topic, it's about sexual grooming. I will be using short words in reference to the longer for as far as predators. So, and some other things, because Google don't like them and they'll flag your video, or they won't pay you for. So this is a warning. If you think you're going to get triggered about what I'm going to deliver my commentary on today, then I advise you probably to just leave the room. I'll give you a couple more minutes and then I'll be back. That's it. I'm not sure if you all are okay with what I'm going to talk about today. I hope this is a much needed conversation. Oh, hold on, please. I want some people to realize the conversation that we're going to talk about today, let me remove this, can trigger some people. So I threw up that warning because we're going to talk about grooming. What is grooming? I believe in the Deja and the Michael case, it was grooming. He was the godfather. I believe he had watched her, studied her, saw that her mother was allegedly into drugs and was in and out of jail. And he took on the role as a father, a godfather. But when I was looking and listening to this story, different people doing commentary on, the first thing hit my mind was this man was sexually grooming this young girl. That's what he was doing, sexually grooming her. And it was probably very easy because most preds, they focus on children that does not have a strong relationship with the mother and father. In most cases, the father is not in the home. The mother, I don't want to take any credit away from the mother doing all that she could do probably to provide for her children. But in this case, the mom, I believe, was in and out of jail. She was on drugs. So this gentleman stepped in to be, quote, the godfather, which he was a predator to be. He made sure that he got that little girl in a position because he's well past her, damn near her senior. Of course, we know he's a senior. So he saw a opportunity in his sick mind to become close to this young girl, treat her like what she would call maybe a father, but they called him the godfather. But in the process of him doing that, he became a predator as well. So I believe he have been having relationships with this young girl for a very, very long time. He gained her trust, her confidence, and he moved in on her. And unfortunately, in my sight, is an unfortunate thing. Perhaps she fell in love with him, looking for a father figure, looking for maybe perhaps just an adult figure. I don't know the family dynamics when it comes to if she had any older brothers, sisters, if the grandmother was around, but it appeared to be, from what I heard, that it was her and the mom, and I guess the mom's children. And the unfortunate thing is he took advantage of that young girl. But in the process, she fell in love with him because he made her feel comfortable. He made her feel protected. Now, look, most fathers protect their daughters. Most husbands protect their wives. So she looked at him probably as a protector. And it was so easy to prey on her, good morning, BB Nice, because her mother was not doing her job. Now, I'm not going to sit here and knock the mother because I have been a working mother and things could have happened when I was at work. But it appears to me, just the way the mother's rebuttal was to Deja making a video, is that her and her mother relationship was not that close, was not that solid. The mom was doing her thing, and this young girl was looking for someone to parent her, to give her directions in the right path. And you had this pred taking advantage of this little girl. And it's very easy to do that. I don't know I don't know, but you guys, please try to follow me and picture what I'm saying, because I have lived in a complex before. And I have lived in a, 25-story building. And when you go outside, there's men, women, children, just people around. And then you have these older men who's hanging on the corner at the corner store, hanging on the corner. So when you go by, you see those hustlers. You see those hustlers, and those hustlers are watching you. So let's talk about what is sexual grooming, because that's what I believe this dude was, a predator and a sexual groomer. Is the preparatory process in which a perpetrator or predator gradually gains a person's or organizational trust with the intent to be sexually abusive. That was his intent. I believed he looked at that little girl as she grew up, as she was growing up. He looked at her as a sexual object. That's a sick thing, but it's a true statement. That's what I believe. See, I'm saying what I believe. So he looked at that little girl as she was growing up, and he knew in his mind that he would gain her confidence and gain her comfortability, that he could do what he wanted to do to her. That's what he did. But there's so many more of them like that. And not just men, it's women as well. Don't get this twisted. Men and women as well are predators. So what he did, he set his sight on little Deja, and he became very close to Deja as he watched the mom run the streets and chase an habit, allegedly a drug habit. And so he got so comfortable, and she got so comfortable with daddy, God daddy, that she looked up to. Perhaps he was the one who gave her money for bubble gum or candy, who gave her money for school clothes, who gave her money for lunch, dinner. Maybe he was that daddy to her at that time. So she began to be real comfortable with him. She got so comfortable with him that when he started inappropriately touching her, I believe at a young age, she never thought much about it because she trusted him. And when he gained her trust, then he put the move on her. And most likely, she didn't say anything or to anyone. Perhaps her mother, the one that she should have went to talk to, was not around. I don't know about the biological dad, but where was he? The man who she should have been looking up to, who should have been a positive role model for her, he couldn't have been there because perhaps they would have seen what was going on, because men know men like women know women. So perhaps if the father was around and he saw this sick bath, the rest of it, doing certain things or being inappropriate with this little girl, he could have put a stop to it. But the mother was so busy doing her thing, she didn't see God Daddy Mike doing his thing with her daughter. And that's the sad thing. And so the victim of sexual groomers are normally kids. They're young kids. They're teenagers. They're vulnerable adults. Anyone could become a victim of a sexual groomer. They know their intentions. They study you for a long time. He studied that kid for a long time. He knew her mother and father wasn't around. So he knew it would be easy for him to gain her trust and do inappropriate things with her. He knew that there was no one there to correct him. See, he looked like he might have been one of those old time hustlers, hanging around the park on the street corner with a little money. He peeled her off a couple of dollars. Here, Deja, go get you something to eat, baby girl. Here, give daddy a kiss. See, that was innocent to her. And I think what happened along the way, she fell in love with this man because that was the father figure who she was looking for, was Mike. Even though he did some inappropriate things and his inappropriate behavior towards her, she didn't look at it like that. And so as she started to grow into her teens and now into what they call a woman, 18 years old, you say, okay, a woman, he set his sights on her and she became so comfortable, she fell in love with him, and now they're married. It's sick to some of us, but it could be easily done to a lot of us, especially to children who parents aren't around, because they prey on children in broken homes, mainly broken homes, not good homes, because you're going to have both parents most likely teaching that child, protecting that child, giving that child directions. And so they won't be as vulnerable and easy to get to like Deja and millions of other little girls, thousands. I don't know the statistics. I really need to work on getting these statistics though. But she's not the only one. Even if you think and you sit back and you think about it, have you, now that you are an adult, have you ever been inappropriately touched, like the tickling, the play fighting, the wrestling? That's what they do. And you're playing, but they inappropriately touching you in the meantime. They're not they're inappropriately touching you, but you don't know because it looks like just a little tickle here, tickle there, and a little, tackle and on top. You don't think about things like that being inappropriate touching when you young. That's why it's so important. And I know they're doing it in schools now, that you teach kids good touch and bad touch. They spend time now teaching the children there's good touch and there's bad touch. And when you think you're being touched in a bad way, you report it to someone. But where was her mother? And now that is all out in the wash. The mother's rebuttal to her saying she's grown now, she loves Mike, it's her husband, they doing fine, ain't nobody gonna break him, was to cuss her out and tell her, I effed him too for $150. That was the mother's response. So you could see the family dynamics there was terrible. You could see it was some family dynamics there. And the mother and the daughter don't see eye to eye. The daughter thinks she has a prized possession in Mike because, like I said, he was more of a father figure to her. That's just what he was. He peeled off a couple of dollars. He probably bought her school clothes, gave her lunch money, and did did all these things. And he took advantage of her. But now she doesn't see it like that. Maybe years from now, when she look back on it, she'll see where this man had been sexually grooming her, and he had manipulated her into doing what he wanted her to do, and they kept it a secret until now, until they came out and got married. See, that's what predators do. They study their victims. Really, they study them. They'll tell you that. I don't know, this crazy guy was talking. I saw a little bit of it on somebody's YouTube, and he said he studied his victims. He's a predator. He said, and he knew if they came from a two-parent household, probably middle class, I would say, he knew not to even prey on those children because they would be hard to get to. But if they came from a broken home, or even if they was having problems with their parents and their family members, and there was some dynamics going on, he knew they would be easy prey, and that's who he preyed on. And so I was thinking about when I was young, I was just thinking about some things and certain things I had seen people do. And now I realize that it was inappropriate. But as a young girl, I wouldn't have never thought that it was inappropriate. But like I said, that play fighting, that tickling, when they touch you on your breast, that hugging and that kissing, I tell my grandchildren, and I get very nervous, you guys. I don't like it at all. Don't sit on anyone's lap. Don't let me catch you on anyone's lap, because it's so hard to trust people now. You can't trust them. See, and it's normally Uncle Ted, Aunt Betsy, Cousin Joe, your brother or your sister, people who your children are around always. Is the Boy Scout, the Girl Scouts. Now we know it's athletic clubs like the Olympics. So now we finding out all these people have predators in their organizations or in their family. Hey, what's going on? We all have them in our family. Now I know when my cousin used to sit me on his lap, that sick mofo probably was getting off. And what did I know as being a child? But now that I know, now I see the sickness in him. So I make sure my grandchildren, and this is the craziest thing, you guys, but I could bring my two boys on here and they'll tell you, and my ex, they'll tell you, I don't like my grandchildren sitting on their parents' laps, their father's laps. I just have a real thing about that. Because that, not that my boys would do anything to their children, I just don't like it. Is a trigger for me. Remember I said this might be a trigger to some. It's a trigger for me to see a little girl sitting on a man's lap and he's rocking back and forth, or shaking side to side. I see something inappropriately going on there. That's just me. So I don't do it. And my family questioned me one time when they said, well, Mom, that's sick for you to think. That's just the way I think. So please don't do it. You know, I'm not going to go in detail, but I don't do it, please. It makes me feel some kind of way when my grandchildren are sitting on men's lap. We don't sit on men's lap around here. It's just not accepted. I don't give a damn who it is. Don't sit on their lap. And it's a shame that I would have to think like that. But the reality is, most of the predators are people we know, are close people who our children trust. And once they gain that trust and that confidence in them, the children is not going to tell anyway. It's a secret. Don't tell mommy or daddy we played like this or I touched you. Okay, this is our secret. Because remember, they gain that child's confidence, not confidence. They gain that child's, comfortability or confidence. All right. They gain that in children. So they prey on them. So a child won't tell. 9 times out of 10, Deja did not tell anyone because, see, she knew as she started to grow up. See, as she was growing up and she saw what was happening, she knew what he was about then as she started growing into her teens and now, quote, 18, what they call them. She saw his moves. See, because he wasn't the only predator around. They stand on the street corners all the time, hustling and talking to your children when your children walk to the store by themselves. They sit in the playground smoking weed, looking at your young daughter or son with a lustful eye. Those are the predators that's around. But see, people see that Mr. Mike sits in the playground every day. No one ever questioned it. Why is Mr. Mike sitting in the playground looking at these kids? First thing, oh, that's just Mike. He sits there all the time and watch the kids. But Mike could be a predator. So you need to be real careful just accepting that Mike sits in the park where children play and watch them, and you thinking he's protecting them or looking out after them, but he's preying on them. He's preying on them. It happens all the time. And we need to know it when we see it and call it out. We need to know it. So when you sitting around and your kids sitting around or whoever, and people are playing with them, you need to be very careful on how people play with your children. The kissing and the hugging, no, we can't do that. See, because this is nothing new. Social media just exposes a lot of it. They gain your trust, right? Social media now social media is just exposing it. This was all over social media. And the unfortunate thing is, like I said, I believe, and this is just me, he's been grooming that little girl all along. Because I can't imagine a man holding a baby in his arm and just holding a little girl, being the goddaddy that he was, I guess, or whatever, innocently, doing it innocently. But as he watching her grow, he start lusting for the very kid that you had up in your arms giving a lollipop to. That's a sick, sad situation, but it's true. I don't trust anyone around my grandchildren. They don't do spending the night. No, you can't spend the night at anyone's house. Too much stuff is happening. And like I said, and thank you, Treasure, they gain trust. And so they don't tell. So then they form these relationships with children. And then what they'll do is they will test the child's boundaries. How far will this child let me go? And so they'll test the boundaries. So once you touch her on her breast or his private parts, because it can happen to men, or on his butt, put your hands down your pants, and they reject it, then you know you may have a problem. But if they don't reject you and they don't say anything, is a strong possibility you have your next victim. And so you start studying them and you start doing it more. You know, it's from the tickling now to laying on top to putting your hands down my pants, different crazy things like that, rubbing you on your booty, smacking you on your ass. To this very day, I don't like people to smack me on my butt. They'll tell you I just freak out about that. I don't know why, you know, but I don't. I don't play like that. Don't slap me on my ass. No love. No, I don't play like that. You know, and so they start doing that, and then they get that comfort level and they know how further they can go. And then they start just doing different things. And when the child doesn't say anything or doesn't set boundaries, because kids are scared. Kids are scared. Not only are they scared, they're really putting their trust in an adult to do the right thing to protect them. So they don't think much about it, you know? So then they do that touching. Then they'll start intimidating you. See, there's levels to this sexual grooming. It's levels to it. Then they'll start intimidating you, you know. And a lot of times, I bet you that guy probably told Deja, Mike, that he was younger than what he was, you know, acting like a fatherly figure, giving her advice about other little boys, you know, things that's going on in her life. She probably ran to him to get advice. See, so she's becoming more and more comfortable with her predator, who is now her husband. That's the sick thing about it, right? And then, you know, they'll start taking them. Oh, can I take Deja? Can I take her to the zoo today? Can I take her to the park? Can I take her to the mall today? I'm going to buy her some things. And they getting closer and closer and closer to them to make sure they gain that comfortability level with them so they could continue to do the sick stuff that they do. They could continue that behavior and no one will notice it. Most likely, no one will notice it because they look at it innocently, but it's not innocent, you know? And then they'll start, listen. Then I remember listening to a story and they were saying how the man, oh, I watched it on not Underbelly, I watched it here. I was watching sexual abuse for men. I was watching a couple of videos about men who were sexually abused in this organization that I came across, right? And they were saying how the coaches, how the teachers, how their friends, the parent friends began to sexually assault them. And they were afraid to say anything. In some cases, you go to tell the mother or the father, and they don't believe you because of the person who you're telling them who violated you. They don't believe it. Oh, Uncle Joe, he would never do that. You're just lying. So once you say that, that child will never trust to tell you again about any inappropriate behaviors being done to them because you didn't trust them the first time. So this predator will start telling you, okay, don't tell. This is what we do. You know, we're just playing or something. Let me know if it gets too rough. And then they'll start doing more and more explicit things to the child because they now have gained the child's trust and comfortability. So now they will continue to further abuse the child, and the child will keep it a secret. You know, they'll start showing them porno in some cases. Some of the men was being shown porno when they were at the coach's house, you know, and that was an introduction to what he wanted to do to the little boys, a lot of these coaches. So we can't even trust these organizations now. We know the Boy Scouts right now are facing legal ramifications for the sexual assaults they had committed. What else? I don't know about the Girl Scouts. I don't know if anything, but we know about the US Olympics. So it's happening everywhere. So we need to really be very vigilant and careful and keep an eye on our children, because more and more homes are being broken. And when what I mean by that, really in our race, and not only our ethnic group, we have a lot of broken homes. And so when you have broken home, mothers are out there working, doing the best that they can to help maintain and take care of their children. And so you have people who pick up on little things like that, and they set sights on your children. So we have to be very careful, that we are staying abreast of what's going on with our children, even when we send them to a boys and girls club, places that we would never think. We have to make sure we talk to our children. Don't be in such a rush, or you don't have time to talk to your children. It's something they might want to say to you, but when you brush them off, or you're always in a hurry and there's always a hustle and bustle, they don't have that opportunity to tell you, hey, look, Mr. Joe Blow, felt my breast today, or Mrs. Joe Blow, touched my little Peter. They don't have time. We have to make time for our children, and we need to make sure that we really, really watching who's around our kids. Because I know, especially in our culture, we have a lot of uncles and aunts that's not biologically our uncle or aunt. And our parents trust that they're going to do the right thing, and they don't always do the right thing. But it's not just the uncle and the aunt, it could be the brother. Rico told a story the other day, and it really blew my mind. And I guess this story really had me thinking, when he said his first sexual encounter was with his 10-year-old cousin, who gave him fellatio at 10 years old. I was like, damn. But the first thing came to my mind, where did she learn that from? Where did she learn to put her mouth on someone's penis? Where did she learn that from? Did she see some type of interactions with her parents or her siblings or her aunties or uncles, the grandmothers, she had to see that from someone, because that's not a natural thing for a kid to do. Is for a 10-year-old kid to place her mouth on someone's private parts. That's not normal. That let me know that kid has seen a lot for 10 years old. And he said he experienced that. And I was like, wow, 10 years old? So it could be a strong possibility when you see a little kid do something like that. Perhaps, and I don't know, and I'm just saying, it could be a strong possibility that someone had touched that child inappropriately, and she was mimicking what she either seen, or she was doing what someone had done to her or had her do to someone else. Because a 10-year-old kid wouldn't know to put your mouth on someone's private part. They had to see that somewhere. And it makes me wonder, because kids nowadays see a whole lot, things that they shouldn't see. But again, we need to be more prevalent, more vigilant in watching our little boys and girls, because it happens to both. It happened to girls and boys, not just little girls. There's a lot of men out there. Like I told you, I saw this video. It was tons of men out there who have been sexually abused at a young age by people they had trusted. They trusted them to do the right thing and to protect them, and they violated them instead. And men normally don't tell as much as women, because they don't want to look upon as weak, or let's see, I don't know, like they don't want to be looked upon as being a weak man or a weak little boy or something like that. They don't want those labels. So a lot of times they don't even tell they have been sexually abused. They feel ashamed. And I think they are less likely to tell because people don't believe that a man can be violated. But a man can be violated. A teen can be violated. A grown man can be violated. Anyone can be violated. No one is exempt from sexual assault because of their gender. That's just a fact. Let me say hello to some people. I told y'all I wasn't going to be here long. But I tell you, I believe that this gentleman sexually groomed this little girl. And she fell in love with him because he was her only protector. He was the father figure that she was looking for. So to her, this is sick, y'all. She married her daddy. That's sick, but that's what it is. She married her daddy. Maybe had her father been involved in her life, she wouldn't have chose that route, but she did. She chose that route, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for her because I believe she's going to look back, and that marriage is not going to last when she realized what this man has really done to her. Not done for her, but done to her. How he took advantage of her. So I'm going to read some of these comments and then I won't be on here long. I did want to, let me get to these comments. Thank you, Kimberly Black, Clyde Bussy, Trina B, Queen Diva, Treasure Lane, BB Nice, my queen. Kimberly Black, trust. Does she have a biological father? See, I don't know. They never, from the videos I've seen, they never mention anything about a biological father. In fact, the young lady has a 2-year-old son. And I'm wondering, is it by this Pred that she now calls her husband? It's a very sad story. And then you hear people say, oh, there's nothing wrong with that because, in different countries, they allow the young girls to get married as young as 9 and 10 and 11 and 12. But over here in the United States, it is a crime. Yes, even sexual grooming is a crime, is a criminal offense. Yes, it is. Criminal offense. So the mom says she has an older daughter. They're also a brother too, I believe. I haven't heard anyone speak about the young lady's father. Yeah, I don't know how many children look like the mom is struggling with drug abuse, and she was in jail at one time. So she has been missing out of her kids' lives, and is easier for predators to prey on children like that because they don't have a strong family dynamic, background. So not strong family bond that someone will see. Someone will see. Hey, BB Nice. Yeah, it is sick. It's very sick. Giving small compliments, money, and attached, sick stuff. Yeah, that's what they do. They give money, and you guys don't pretend like we've never seen the men outside when we were going to the store, especially if you live in certain demographics. You'll see that all the time. Young boys, and men hanging out on the street, giving young girls money, giving young boys money to go in the candy store and buy things. You see them hug them. You see girls sitting on their lap thinking nothing of it. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. That's the problem that we all should really recognize, that someone who constantly hang around on the streets, in the park, giving kids money is something wrong with that. Not because they're a nice guy. They could be setting their sight on your child for other reasons. BB Nice, sorry for your loss, Queen. You sang so beautifully and you did your love well. Oh, yeah, BB Nice. let's keep BB nice in prayer. I'm so glad to see that she's doing well. I was in her live yesterday and she was telling her story about her house catching on fire. But her and Quad and her children are doing well. I mean, for the most part of it. Peace, love was Kimberly Black, sad, sick, and very mind manipulating. Yeah, manipulated false love, which turns into rape. Ah, exactly. Because they said, Keitra, they said that most sexually groomed teenagers would be sexually abused as adults. I did read that. I read that somewhere. It turns into abuse. Right, right. It turns into abuse. I read that. And that's true, I believe. Because perhaps the young girl may not want to be bothered, and then he start calling her names and mistreating her, doing certain things to her because she don't want to comply to having sex with them, but he is sick. He's really sick. He's sick. It's sad, but I understand. Yeah. Thank you. Trust. I think Trejor was telling me trust when I was trying to say they gain their trust or something like that. Yeah, it's a sick thing. When grown folks are over, it's a simple hello. Then the kids are in another room. That's how I was raised. That's how we was raised. That's how we was raised. You couldn't be around grown folks. But let me tell you now, this generation raising their children are totally different because I still believe that children should not be in the same room with grown folks indulging in their conversation or listening to what's going on. They should be in other areas. Right now, some of the parents don't care. They just don't care, and that's why kids are grown sometimes. Maybe they're too grown. Yeah, Santa Claus lap. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, don't sit on Santa Claus lap. Don't sit on no one's lap. Santa could be a little pervert. I don't know. Do you guys think he may have been sexually traumatized as a child? Also, not making it right, but is it something to think about? That's a good thing. I mean, that's a good statement. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, he could have been. He could have been. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about him because I wasn't, hey, Mixology Plus was going. I wasn't going to run all over the internet looking to find out about him because there's age discrepancy. Some people say he's 40 some years old. Some say 55. I read today on some other videos that he's 61 years old. So I don't know how old it was too old for that girl. It was too old for that young girl, but I know beyond a shadow of doubt, I just feel it in my spirit that this kid was looking for a father figure, and Mr. Mike came along. He came along because she was looking for that father figure. That's what I believe. And to me, he abused her. You can't get around it. She's 18 now, but I believe in my heart of hearts that he's been having sex with that kid for a long time. For a long time. Now, I'm not sure, like I said, about her 2-year-old, if he's the father of the 2-year-old. I never heard anyone say much about it. But if so, that means 2 years ago, she was 16, right? So, but like I said, and here's the sad thing: 18 or over 5 years too old. Hey, Miss T. Here's the sad thing about it: is how long has he been touching that little girl? It could have been well before she was even a teen. You'll never know because she won't tell now. But if they have a fallout or she come to her senses that this man was actually sexually grooming her, perhaps she may tell her story, and it will be a story to be heard. I would love to hear her story because I believe is more to it. I believe is more to it. Like I said, he's probably been doing that for a long time. Very nasty. He is just sick. It's like my granddaddy marrying me. Yeah. They do that a lot, you guys, and they do that in other cultures. We don't do it in our culture, but they do that in other cultures. Older men marrying much younger girls, and is nothing wrong with it in their culture. And so we may think it's nasty, disgusting, foul play, but somebody else say, hey, ain't nothing wrong with it. In my experience, older men have always been attracted to me and didn't care my age. They felt they could groom and manipulate me. Hindsight 2020. Yeah. I bet. Like I said, they will try to manipulate you. They will try to gain your trust, and you become comfortable with them, and then they move to the next level. But once you refuse them, they will back off because they become afraid, scared you might tell on them. Yeah, he's buying love. Yeah, it's more than love though. He's buying more than her love, Diva. Yeah, but I think that's what he did. And like I said, I believe the girl fell in love with him, y'all. She fell in love with him because he was there for her when no one else was. I wonder how many nights or days she stayed at home and her mother wasn't present and Mike was around. I don't know what the brothers and sisters did. Were they always at home with her? I don't know where she fall in line at. Is she the middle child, the youngest child, the oldest child? I don't know any of that history, so I can't say. But I wonder if he was just allowed to hang around her house. And so every time this sick bass, the rest, y'all know the rest, got the opportunity to touch her, he touched her inappropriately. But she became so comfortable with it that she never said anything. He brainwashed her. Absolutely, he did. He brainwashed her to probably, he convinced her, hey, ain't nothing wrong with what we doing. Just don't tell mom because your mama like me. You could almost hear a slick Negro talking. Oh, don't say nothing, because your mama might have a problem with it because your mama wanted me. And she young, believing that, yeah, because, your mama wanted me, but I ain't want to, mess like that with your mama. I could just imagine some of the things that perhaps that sicko was saying to her, right? The man was on drugs and he found the perfect opportunity the mom was on drug opportunity to come at her while she was young. Yeah, he's been hanging around, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I believe, you guys, it was a sexual grooming type thing. I really do. He had been grooming that kid for a long time. And because her mother wasn't available, it was easy for her to become his victim. And she just fell in love with him. Now, how long is that going to last? I don't believe the relationship will last long, but we'll have to see. Somewhere down the road, I'm sure on social media somewhere, we'll hear about them and their marriage, how long their marriage lasted. I would hope that this young girl, beautiful young girl, will get herself together, probably go to college, don't have any more children. I think she has 2 children now, you guys. The children you have, take this man's money and go to school on him and then get the hell out of this situation, because I can't see it being a good situation. I only could see it being like maybe a toxic situation because he's so much older than her, have so much control over her. I'm sure when she doesn't want to do what he wants her to do, there's some repercussions. I'm just sure because he's that old and have that much power over her. And older men know how to manipulate younger women. Let's see. The mom was okay. Let's see. Keitra, she needs true woman that's strong-minded. Leave out that keep it quiet county. They baby needs some strong aunties and uncles. No, some real family people. Oh, Queen is saying, wait, let me read this. He could have helped her without touching her. He is her godfather, not her suitable part. No, but like I said, Molly, he could have helped her without touching her. But I really believe he watched this kid grow and he started really lusting after this young girl. I believe he did. As she started to come into herself, her body developed. he looked at her as a woman and as a woman that he desired. And then he did whatever he had to do. Let's see what Queen Diva said. I watched her video. She was talking mad shit, bragging about her 4 cars and the money he has, and said people are just jealous. Yeah, she's just young and dumb right now. She's just young and dumb. And so it's nothing that you could say to her, you guys. There's nothing you would be able to say to her because, hold on. Because she sees herself as in love, and she's probably infatuated with the things that he could give her. Like I said, he's probably a dope boy. I don't know. I'm just guessing. He's probably a dope boy and have a couple of coins and gives her money, buy her what she wants. So she's infatuated really with what he could do for her. Not him so much, but what he can do for her. Yeah, at that point, he should have gotten help. Yeah, I think he has a problem himself, Monty. I agree. Well, you guys, I said I wasn't going to be on here very long. I'm so glad you came through to visit with me. Please hit that like, share the video if you choose to. Don't forget, if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to me. I don't know. Okay, wait. Please be respectful in the chat. The Google moderator watching and blocking. Yeah, Diva told me that they was blocking before. He's a sloppy boy. Oh, is that a term for something? I'm not up on that. What's a sloppy boy? I don't know what that. Somebody help me out. What is a sloppy boy? I'm going to drop this link for a minute if somebody want to come up and engage in the conversation. And if not, I'm going to get out here because I have Peace, Love, have a live. Please make sure you stop by and give Peace, Love a click of the view. Come and get this commentary she's doing. I started watching. I really like her, you know. She just say what she have to say and she get it over. So she's battling with this Tales of the Cult. I don't know much about that. But I guess the lady faked domestic violence. And that's what we don't need to do. We don't need to fake anything. We need to be real and upfront and honest about things that's going on when it comes to domestic abuse. That shit is not a joke. Like I said, many people get killed by their abusers. So it's nothing to play with. I guess this tells of the cult pretending like she was being abused. And so come and get this commentary, and her other people are making videos about that. But there's no laughing matter and there's no joking matter. I dropped the link if somebody want to come up here. But yeah. So like I said, I'm sure some of us probably wouldn't admit it, but look back and see that the things that people, the rocking and putting kids on your laps and doing certain things was inappropriate behavior, but we didn't know it back then and we wouldn't tell it. But I do, I did share something with my sister one day, Queen Diva. She was very surprised of what I told her. And it wasn't nobody in our family, but, you know, inappropriately touched me. But my sister was surprised because my sister was wondering why I didn't really care for this person and I didn't speak to this person. And then I told her, I'm not going to say the situation, but it wasn't nothing really traumatic, but still you touched me inappropriately. And now as an adult, I know what you did and I don't have any use for you, you know? And so I don't go around that person when I'm in certain areas, and I don't choose to really say too much to them because now I know, but I didn't know as a young girl, you know? I didn't know that she was inappropriately touching me. And then I didn't want to, you know, come around. But I told my sister the story, and I'm sure she's going to call me and ask me what I was talking about. But she was wondering why I act a certain way around this particular person. And then when I told her, she was like, damn, I didn't know that. I wish you had told me. Yeah, they do. They block the Google. That's why I say I wanted to watch what words that I use and, you know, be very careful. Because they do. No, you said he was dope. Oh, doughboy. I said he sloppy boy. Oh, okay. I get you now, baby. Yeah. Yeah. My sister, yeah, she didn't know. But then when I told, see, so I said that too, because a lot of times we don't say anything to anyone. And I don't know at that point when I was young why I never really said nothing, why I just didn't say anything to my mom, my dad, or anyone. I just let it go, but I didn't want to go around that person. So I tried to make sure that I kept my distance. But had I known what I know today, I would have told on him. I would have told on him. Not only him, I remember a story too where we had this babysitter. We had this babysitter. And this baby, this babysitter, she used to do the same thing, but I remember telling my mom, and I remember my mom going to blows with this lady when I told my mom what she had did, and needless to say, we never went back over there. But again, at one point, real young, I was scared to say something. You know, you know, yeah. So, but when we said something, my mother acted upon it in the way that I thought my mother would act, even being young. You know, my mom went to physical blows. Yep. I'll have to tell Queen D when I get a phone. Do she remember that? When I get off live, does she remember that? So it happens to a lot of us, and a lot of us don't say anything to anyone. But stop inviting everyone in your home, all the uncles and the aunties, because when you use terms of endearment like that, kids become more comfortable with that person too. Oh, that's Uncle this, that's Aunt that, that's this and that, and they get comfortable with those people. And so it's harder to even tell someone when you are around calling somebody your uncle or your aunt. We used to do that because we always had to have a handle on someone's name. We can't do like the kids do now. Hey, Cookie, how are you? Hey, Jackie, how are you? No, we couldn't do that. It had to be Aunt Jackie or Miss Jackie. But nowadays kids could just call you by your first name unless you correct them. I'm old school. I correct them. I correct them real quick. You know, no way, ain't no way I will put my kids at risk yet. But here's the sad thing about it is a lot of times though, Trina, when you say, is that Trina? No, they said no. A lot of times you really trust these people. You don't know they have those tendencies. You don't know they that type of people, and you trust them. And you don't even know that they will do some things to your children, and you trust them. Well, oh, go ahead over to Aunt Vicky's house. Go ahead over there. Mom got to go to work. Aunt Vicky go watch you. And Aunt Vicky is doing things to us that mom can't imagine. And if we don't tell her, mom will continue to send us over Aunt Vicky's house because she doesn't know that Aunt Vicky or somebody in Aunt Vicky's house is abusing us, is sexually abusing us. So she will continue to take us over there. So that's why I said you have to tell. You have to tell. You have to tell your parents or somebody because it will continue the sexual abuse, the inappropriate touching, or whatever is going on will continue. So yeah, the fake aunts and yeah, I don't trust no one with my baby. I know, and for a long time, we don't allow our kids to go spend the night over other people's houses. Yeah, you just can't spend the night. No. Now you could come over our house, but as far as I don't know how my kids do it now. I know at one point, I know my oldest boy doesn't allow his kids to go to anyone's home to spend the night. Now my daughter, she has like a group of friends that they always together and do things together. They go on outings and everything. So I know my granddaughter, her daughter could spend the night over her friend's house, but it's to the point you can't trust anyone. I do not like young girls around boys. I do not like kids around men and your older boys and stuff like that playing. I don't like that. I just don't like it. And I guess I have a reason, or now that I told you, I have a reason for feeling that way, but I don't play that crap. Okay, well, my mama and my sister, other than that, is no for me. Yeah. You just can't trust anyone. Yeah, not when it comes to my kids. Yeah, you just have to be really careful nowadays. And like I said, it's been going on, y'all. Come on, don't act like it hasn't been going on. Some of us in here may have been inappropriately touched or something, have happened, to us, and we don't say anything because I think the environment, that the environment that we in, sometimes we choose not to say things like that because people will take the very things that we say and they'll run with their own narrative, and instead of helping someone, they will use it to try to drag or humiliate you or hurt you. But I don't worry about it because it is what it is, and I say what I want. But yeah, he was mad at me when he was younger because I wouldn't let him spend nights. Yeah, exactly. Or go anywhere without you. Exactly. You have to. It's just so scary now. It's really scary because you don't know who to trust. It's sad because you want to trust people, but because so much stuff happening, you see so much in today's world. But like I said, it's been going on for years and years when we were kids. It's just that it's not as exposed as it is now with social media. It gets more exposure because of social media, and people run the social media and tell everything. So that's how we know a lot. As a survivor myself, I told my fourth grade teacher my predator was my own mother. Wow. Yes, Keitra. That's why no one is exempt. It could be your mother, it could be your father. We done heard many cases of dads molesting their children. We've heard that. We have seen cases where the dad and the daughter have children together. We've seen it all, sweetheart. So I don't minimize this at all. Anybody who has had to experience this, my heart goes out to you, especially when it was on a continuous basis and it was somebody you loved and trusted so much that brought you harm. And that's trauma. That's trauma. That's something you'll never get over. I don't care how many therapies you go to. I don't care how many people you talk to, what type of medication you may get. Is something you will never ever get over because it happened to you by a trusted loved one. Oh, thank you, baby girl, for the cash app. By a trusted loved one. And that hurts even more. That hurts you even more that your mother or your father or your sister or brother will take advantage of you. The people who you admire and look up to the most is the one that will disappoint you. So, sweetheart, I'm sorry. I'm glad you told someone, and I hope you're doing well with it now. But I believe, Keitra, and you just correct me if I'm wrong, that that's trauma that will last a lifetime. And you will always probably have triggers. And hopefully this show didn't trigger you, but it probably was information that I provided that will help other people. And thank you for sharing your story, even though you didn't share the total story. But I'm glad that you came forward and even said that much. As a survivor, I told my fourth grade teacher my predator was my own mom. That's sad. That's why I told you I don't like the rocking, the sitting the kids on the lap. I don't give a damn if it is your kid's son. And my sons look at me crazy when I say that. Get her off your lap. Mom, what you talking about? This is my damn daughter. I wouldn't do nothing. Please just get her off your lap. And then when I talk to them, they really understand. They say, yeah, Ma, I understand what you mean, but I wouldn't do nothing to my son. I just can't. I just can't. Please remove them off your lap. That's just the truth. I had the kids sleep at my friend's house. They had forever, could come sleep over. I don't know what goes on in other people's home. Right. I get it. I'm glad you told too, Keitra. I think I'm pronouncing it. He told me thank you because he doesn't have a story to tell like his friends and girlfriends does. Believe me, he was mad at me. I told him he would thank me later. Exactly. Do what's in the best interest of your child. And then you sit down there and you explain it to him. This when we talk to my grandkids, a lot of times we watch videos together and we explain those videos to them and tell them this is why we don't do so and so, or this is why you can't do so and so. Because I know my granddaughter think I'm kind of strict, because every time she asks me, because she goes somewhere, especially if she's with me and I'm watching her, I say no. Now, if I could take you there and I could sit there and you're not embarrassed, well, we can go, girl. But if I can't sit there, I'm not dropping you off nowhere for something to happen to you on my watch, because I would have to deal with that guilt the rest of my life. The rest of my life. And I don't want to do it. And I know shit happens. When we're not looking, someone other than us, a predator, is still looking when we're not looking. So I had trust issues with my kids since that. It was hurtful. Oh, wow. Wow. My prayers go up to you, sweetheart. That each and every day you get stronger dealing with whatever your situation was, Keitra. Thanks for sharing that again, because even on the platform, which could be so helpful to people, we just so leery to say anything. And this just helps a person. There might be someone out here who's not even thinking but have children and notice just some of the tickling, the wrestling, the play fighting, the kissing on, and say, damn, I wonder if something else can develop from this and they may do something different. Yep. Okay. So, see, I used to ask my son every day, if somebody touch him, let me know. It's not your fault because I can protect him at school or on your way to school. I was on it. Yeah, you have to ask your kids. You have to. There's nothing wrong with that. And spend more time talking to them. Y'all see, I still got this cough, my ears stuff. Yes, we have to have these hard conversations with our children. We should have tons of conversations like this throughout YouTube. Use your platform to educate and inform. We should have tons of information like this, conversations. Just we need to have more of it. Stop ignoring something that's inevitable in a lot of cases if we don't pay attention. If we don't pay attention and stay abreast of what our children are doing, even adults, because this started out with domestic violence, right? That's what we were in this month. Even adults can be sexually groomed. Yes, not just kids. Vulnerable adults could be sexually groomed. This is not just a kid thing. It's not just a lady thing, a girl thing, a woman thing. It's a boy thing, a man thing. It is a thing that we should talk about because it's so important. And that girl, when I listened to her story, I said, let me do the flip side. Let me, I want to hit on this. I want to do commentary on this because I believe that girl had been sexually groomed. That's my belief. It was so hard. I was blamed from the whole family. My stepmom and dad was there. They never knew. I was uplifted with love and support. Good for you, Keitra. Good for you, sweetheart. They think I mean, I don't care. I always tell them you don't know who is watching you. This world has become very dark. That's the truth. And I'm sure, like my granddaughter, she asked me, could she go skating or somewhere? I had her a couple of weeks ago. Her mom was away. And I said, no. And then she came back. See, Miss Slickster, she came back and said, so and so father said that we could go. Can you take us to the Six Flags? Um, I said, well, have her father call me. She never came back in here, right? So she came in. She was dying to get out this house. She was dying for me to let her loose. So she came in again. She said, oh, well, her father said that if you take us, he'll pick us up. I said, well, have her father call me. Because is her father gonna be at the game? And she said, yeah, her father gonna be at the game. He never called. Later on that evening, he called me. He said, well, what are the girls trying to do? Because so and so and so. I said, they trying to get over to this game, but I'm not going to be responsible for taking them to this game and not sitting there. And if something happened, baby, I can't do that. You know, I don't want anything to happen to my granddaughter or your daughter on my watch. So she wanted the little girl to come spend the night. I let her come spend the night. But no, I'm not letting you go anywhere, baby. And I know they probably think I'm mean because she don't know. She really don't know about this world. These kids have it good sometimes and they live in certain areas and things happen, but not like in other demographic areas. So they don't see a lot that's happening around their way. So they always deem it safe. But no area is safe. I don't care where you live. No area is safe. It can happen to anyone's child. Facts. Big facts. We should, but people rather talk about stupid stuff and that don't even matter. Yeah, well, I'm going to come down here and deliver my commentary, and that's what I'm going to do. And it will be related to things that will help us. Sometime I'll just come on and just do a rant or a chat just to talk about, but I'm not doing any other thing other than trying to lift someone up, educate, inform, or motivate. In my opinion, the world has been very dark. It's just now coming to light. It is coming to light, Monty, and I think the reason why we see more and more things is because social media. Social media. I wouldn't have never heard about that girl, Mike and Deja, if it wasn't for was it Facebook? No, it might have been on YouTube. Somebody had did a story. Neek at Night. Neek at Night is really good, and she covers a lot of important, stories. She covers a lot of good stories. She's not into the mess and nothing like that. So I was watching Neek at Night, and that's where I got this story from. And the more and more that I saw videos and heard people talk about it throughout, the video world, the YouTube world, I said, I believe this guy is a predator who has been sexually grooming this girl for a long time. Sure enough, with his money. And a lot of times it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much when you're giving someone gifts, and you're treating them nice, you whining and dining them. It doesn't take much for you to cross over and start having sexual relationships with them when they become comfortable. But I mean, it's a sick sight to see this guy holding this kid as this lady now as a little girl innocently. And then on the opposite picture that I have up here is him marrying her. That's pretty sick. Sick. Miss Monty, Mixology Plus has a channel. Thanks to the content creators who joined me today. Thanks for y'all who shared the video. Thanks for sharing my video. I would love to get deep into this sometime. Just get panels and just go for it. I think it's very, very interesting. I think it's a good topic to talk about. But with that being said, you guys, I've been on here more than an hour rambling. But I did want you guys to know that I had deemed this from my spirit that this was sexual grooming. That's what this was. That's what that predator did to this young girl. And now she's his wife. That's what I see was going on. That's what I see. Thank you again, dear, for the Cash App. Appreciate it. You guys, I'm going to get ready to get out here. You guys, thank you, really, BTV. for sharing my video and peace. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about? Huh? If not, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Thank you so much, Miss T. Have a blessed day. They said no. You welcome. You welcome. If you have a topic you would like for me to talk about, you have any ideas for a video, let me know. If you're not afraid, when I drop the link, come up here and just be you. You don't have to come on camera. You could use an avatar. The only thing I say that when we over here have a certain decorum, we just remain respectful to each other, even in the chat. Even if you don't like what I'm saying, don't disrespect me. Okay? Let me read this comment right here. I skipped. That's why I asked if he may have been violated after 30 years. My mom told me my mother was groomed by her grandfather, hence the reason she became a addict, repeat behavior. Dang. Yeah, see, you never know, Keitra. Oh, so that was like almost like a learned behavior, what they would call a learned behavior that your mom had. Wow. There's so many stories out there, you guys, of kids being sexually abused by their parents, their siblings, and other people. There's so many stories out there. I would love to have someone come up here one day and share their story. If you have a story or a idea of a show you want to share, please don't hesitate to reach me via email and I will get back to you and we could try to set up a show, or either I can talk about it. I could research it and talk about it. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I got to get ready to get out of here. I want to go to this sister's live as well. I do. All right. So hold on. I'm going to get ready to get out here. Keitra, again, thank you so much for being brave, sweetheart, to share your story. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I'm about to get out of here, have me some Sunday dinner. Oh, this is another version of this. Hey, Mr. Carruthers, how are you? Hold on. Mr. Carruthers, Queen Diva told me today she stopped in your show. Are you doing a Sunday show, Mr. Carruthers? Because I like to shout you out and have people go over there and subscribe to you. Are you doing a Sunday show? And Mixology, are you back on now? Are you doing your show? Oh, I think we talked about that, Mommy. Never mind. Mr. Carruthers, Queen Diva told me that she stopped by your place today. Are you on? Are you doing a show now, Mr. Carruthers? Mr. Carruthers, yes or no? Mr. Carruthers. I don't know. So, with that being said, if you see a king's crown crooked, help him straighten it up. If you see a queen's crown crooked, help her straighten it. Speak life and wisdom into your princess and your princesses. They are our joint heirs. They are our future. Make sure we put into it. Make sure we follow and stay abreast of what's going on with our children as well. Stop the friendly touching, the playing, the kissing, the hugging by the uncles, the aunts, the fake brothers, the fake sisters. Even we have to watch out for some of the mothers and the fathers. It's just a mess, a real mess out here. As always, be a blessing and not a bother. It doesn't take much to bless someone. A simple hello, how are you? You look nice today. Can I grab that coffee for you? Here's a couple of dollars to buy you something to love. I love that hat you have on. Your smile is contagious. You look beautiful. You never know how uplifting that could be to recognize someone feeling some kind of way just by saying they have a beautiful smile. That's a blessing to someone. Well, until we meet again, I'll see y'all on the flip side. Go over there and join Mr. Carruthers. He has a channel. He still do music. Okay. You guys, thank you so much, Queen Diva. Appreciate you very much. Until we meet again, I'll see you guys around. Peace.